So if you've spent any time reading the news, you've probably seen the headlines that President Trump is cutting Social Security, specifically Social Security disability benefits. So what's all the hoopla? So hang on before we get into this. I don't like talking about anything that's political. The good Lord knows we're already divided enough without my 2 cents, but I do think it's time to maybe accept the idea that Social Security is sometimes political. You just can't separate the two and still leave the context intact. So with that being said though, my goal is to deliver fact without any bias, you know, how the news used to be, right? So before we jump into this, let's be clear. The criteria used to determine whether a person is or is not disabled is not changing. That's not on the table. What everyone is talking about though is a proposed change to the CDR, or continuing disability review. So let's take a quick look at how this works now, and then we'll talk about the proposed change. So currently, when a person is receiving disability benefits, the Social Security Administration periodically reviews them to make sure they are still medically eligible for payments based on their disability. The frequency of this review is based on the disabled individual's outlook for medical improvement. Currently, there are 3 categories of prospective medical improvement. There's medical improvement expected, medical improvement possible, medical improvement not expected. Now, the key difference with these categories is the frequency of the continuing disability review, that CDR. Those categorized as medical improvement expected can expect a review every 6 to 18 months. Medical improvement possible can expect a review once every 3 years, and medical improvement not expected can expect a review once every 7 years or so. When individuals are awarded disability benefits, they are notified of which category they are in and when they can expect their next review. So the administration can reclassify a medical condition following a review, and that's an important note here. For example, a person whose medical condition was categorized as medical improvement possible can be moved into the medical improvement expected category, and a reclassification will change the frequency of the subsequent continuing disability reviews. So that frames the background where these upcoming changes should be a little easier to understand. But before we talk about what's changing, listen, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and hit that notifications bell so you can keep up with changes like these. I suspect we're only going to see more of these as the trust funds get closer to empty. So there are really a couple of changes that are being proposed, but they both center around the frequency of the continuing disability review. The administration is saying that the intent of these changes is to be able to identify medical improvement at an earlier point than they can under the current rules, thus not having as many individuals on disability benefits that shouldn't be. Now, the first change that's been proposed is to add a 4th category of prospective medical improvement. This new category will be called medical improvement likely, and people in this category would be subject to a review every 2 years. Now, this would be a midpoint between medical improvement expected and medical improvement possible. The second change would be to modify the criteria they use when determining which medical improvement category someone should be assigned to. The determination of these categories isn't just up to the whims of a caseworker. Just understand that. There's actually a list of impairments that determines the prospective medical improvement. And this list hasn't been updated much since the 1980s, despite the fact that there's been some tremendous medical advancements that have happened. For example, HIV used to be a fatal disease that is now simply a chronic condition that allows a pretty high level of function and longer life expectancies. So if these changes do take effect, a condition that may have been reviewed every 3 years may now be reviewed every 2 years, and so forth and so on. The critics are really upset about this and say it's going to result in thousands of people losing their disability benefits. But those who support this change say that if someone doesn't have a disabling medical condition, they need to lose their benefits. I'd love to hear what you think about that in the comments below. You know, if you find yourself with a Social Security disability issue, you need to get someone on your side that can fight for you. This is not an area that's made for the do-it-yourselfer. In the description below, there's a link that's going to take you to short form where you'll be connected with an attorney who specializes in disability benefits. Also, in the comments, you're going to see a lot of links for the research I used in putting this video together. So if you want to continue learning about these changes, check that out because we've just covered the high points in this video. And hey, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you're going to know when we put out an update to this video. Thank you for watching.